Okay, welcome back to the Author Speaker Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Siebold, and we're sponsored today by the Author Speaker Academy. If you want to be an author speaker and put that magical combination together of being a writer and a speaker, it's the magic combination of all magic combinations in business that I've ever seen. You want to join that membership site. It's $97 a month. If you go to SieboldNetwork.com, then go to our online store and you can subscribe to the membership site. There's all kinds. There's right around 40 hours of video in their training that you can get at a very low cost. As I said, it's $97 a month, and you can check out all these different things about this fascinating combination profession that very few people really understand and even fewer profit from. As a matter of fact, today I went on this episode, I want to talk about people come to us all the time in the Bill Gove Speech Workshop, Author Speaker Academy, different places that I speak, and they'll say, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a chiropractor, I'm a dentist, I'm a real estate agent, I'm an insurance agent. These are professional people that have, a lot of them have had uncommon success, frankly, for years in their chosen profession, but they want to move on. They want to do something different. And frankly, I think that, I don't know, a profession that's much higher up than being an author and professional speaker. Getting paid to speak and write is a pretty privileged space, at least in my opinion. And that's where a lot of professionals go, because where else would they go from there? They don't want to go down. They're not going to drive Uber, right? Nothing wrong with driving Uber, but if they're a doctor, you're probably not going to go to driving Uber. You're probably not going to work at Home Depot on the weekends, right? If you want to do something different, or maybe you're retired and you want to share the wisdom that you've learned over the years. Well, this is a great way to break into the author speaker world, okay, is to come from a successful practitioner, successful profession. And this happens all the time. Now, a lot of times the professionals they get bad advice and they don't make it. But when they get good advice, they do. And I'll give you an example. About roughly 8 or 9 years, probably 10 years ago now, I'd have to check, but roughly 10 years ago, I had a chiropractor call me up. And a very successful chiropractor from Chicago, making a lot of money as a chiropractor. He was making over $1 million a year as a chiropractor. Very successful, very serious guy, nice guy, but very serious. And his name is Dr. Alok Trivedi. He was from Toronto. And then he was living in Chicago when he called me and he said, I want to be a speaker and I want to get into the speaker writing business, the whole thing. I want to do the whole thing. And he didn't know anything about it, but so he hired me and took our programs over the years. I think he started in the Bill Gove Speech Workshop. That's where most people start to learn speaking skills, to the professional paid speaking skills. That's where you learn it. That's where everyone's learned it since 1947. So he started there, and then he got into our $1 Million Speakers group. And then he did a lot of different programs that we had over the years. And today, he's literally one of the highest paid non-celebrity speakers in America. He went from being a chiropractor that knew nothing about the author speaker business, and now he's earning millions of dollars in the world of professional speaking and coaching. And he's excellent at it. He's doing very, very well. I had dinner with him. We worked together a little bit a couple of weeks ago up in Chicago. I was up there and I went to see him, and he's just doing great. And I couldn't be any more proud of him as a coach. And he became a good friend, of course, over the time we worked together so closely and traveled all over. And he came to speech. He was an apprentice. He was in our Speaker's Apprentice program for years. He ran the program for a few years with me as well. So I had him backstage, on stage with me all over the country, Canada, Costa Rica, all over the place. He did a great job, and he learned the business. And he's, again, now I believe he's making more money as a speaker and an author than he ever made as a chiropractor. He did well as a chiropractor. So my point in telling you the story is that if you're a professional and you see yourself doing this, maybe you want to do a part-time, maybe you just want to leave your dental practice or your law practice or your real estate business or whatever, and maybe you want to start fresh. You want a new opportunity, a new thing in life. The great thing about the speaker business and the author speaker business, I call it the author speaker business, and I'll talk about that why probably another time, but it's more powerful when you're a combination author speaker than when you're just a speaker. And we'll talk about that another time. But Mark Victor Hansen probably said it best. He said, the best thing about the speaking business is it's not over until you die. And I thought that was brilliant because he really meant it. People laugh at that because it's kind of funny, but Mark was right. And Mark's still going. I don't know how old Mark is now. I'm not sure. I would guess Mark is 70 or plus maybe, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so he's still going strong. We just lost Bob Proctor, but Bob was 87. Bill Gove lived to be almost 90, a month away from 90, still speaking. Zig Ziglar was in his 80s when he passed. Jim Rohn was pretty old. Speakers don't retire. They die. The older you get, the more valuable you are. So if you're coming from a profession, you're an architect, you're someone that's had some uncommon success. You built a small business. You're an executive. We get executives all the time. Now, again, do most of them make it in the business? The answer is no, they don't. Hey, how does a successful dentist that's a pretty good communicator, how do they not succeed? They don't get the right training. They don't get the right information, because there's a lot of bad information out there. There are people out there hawking books. Oh, you can write a book in 30 days. Oh, you can learn to get paid to speak in a week. And all these nonsensical, it's just BS. It's just not true. And those charlatans were out there before. There are more of them now because of social media. There are more of them promoting because they can for very little money. But they were out there when I started to, and Bill Gove set me straight right away. He said, Steve, do not listen to these people. They're preying on people that don't know any better. And that's almost everyone except people in the author speaker business itself at the highest level. Yeah, Randy Gage said one time, one of my great speaker friends and mentors as well from the early 90s or the mid 90s. Randy Gage said in 1998, we were working in LA together, and I was at his seminar. I take it back. I was not working with him that time. I was at his seminar the first time, and I worked it the next year. But that year, Randy said, this is 25 years ago. Randy said, if you're not making at least $1 million a year in the speaking business, you don't understand the speaking business. And he was right. And he pissed a lot of people off in that room. And I didn't really know any better, but I knew Randy knew what he was talking about. And he did. And Randy was right. And Randy tells it like it is. He's one of the speakers I really enjoy. He's a great speaker, but he's also a very smart guy, a great marketer, but also he likes to tell it the way it is. And I've always appreciated that. But there are a lot of people out there hawking things, trying to get rich quick, basically. Learn to speak in a week, write a book in 30 days. Oh, it'll be a bestseller. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, that's just absolute crap. And so that's why a lot of them don't make it, because they buy into these programs of these people hawking these things. And it's too bad. It's sad. It's shameful. It's the dirty side of our business. It's not really our business. It's people trying to sell people on getting in this business. But that said, okay, that aside, if you get good information, like Alok Trivedi did, okay, you get good information, you get good coaching, you get a pathway to success, you can succeed. And you can succeed possibly beyond anything you've ever experienced before, because, there's a lot of money in the speaking business. It's the highest paid profession, or certainly one of them in the world. And so if you're a professional, and if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're interested at some level. And even if you're not really a writer, it's because a lot of people say, well, I can't write, so I can't do it. Oh, don't. We'll talk about ways to get around if you don't have the skill for writing. You can learn skills, for one. You can hire people to help you. I coach authors all the time. I'm working on 6 different books with authors right now that I'm coaching them to become authors. And, because you can be coached. Writing is a set of skills. Yes, there are people that are more talented than others, of course, in anything, and speaking too. But speaking and writing have one of the things they have in common is they're skills based, and skills can be learned. Talent cannot, okay, but skills can. So you can learn if you learn the right way, like Dr. Alok Trivedi did. And but to his credit, he worked at it. He's earned everything he's ever gotten because the guy went to work. He was a workhorse from day one. A lot of people think they're just going to cruise into it. Well, it's just like what made you a successful architect or a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist or a real estate agent or an insurance agent or whatever you do. You worked really hard at that. Maybe not later because you were good at it, but in the beginning you worked really hard. And that's what it takes to do this. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. If you're one of those professionals looking at this, you are going down the right road. You're the perfect person to succeed, but you need to go down the right path, and don't buy into these get rich quick things because that's what derails people. And it's sad that people prey on people that don't know better, but it happens all the time. But that's why I'm doing this podcast. That's why I do the Public Speakers blog. Check check that out. It's all free. Publicspeakersblog.com. Publicspeakersblog.com. It's a free video blog. I've been doing it for 12 years. We give a lot of information away. You get coaching. You can do the Author Speaker Academy. Check in, subscribe to this podcast. Get good information from 7-figure speakers that know what they're talking about. And you got a real chance at building a life that is a pretty darn good life, I got to say. So it's something to really consider. So if you're one of those people, really, I'm glad you're listening to this. Keep listening and we'll give you more information on how to build a career that you can really be proud of and something you'll really enjoy and something that'll be profitable if you run it the right way, and we can teach you how to do it. So thanks for watching the episode. We'll see you next time.